If knowing the exact distance to your target is the difference between a clean shot and a missed opportunity, a rangefinder isn't optional gear, it's essential. The good news is, you don't need to spend a fortune to get one that works. I've gone through hundreds of real buyer reviews to rank the 10 best budget hunting rangefinders you can get right now, starting from the least proven and working up to the one that's earning the most trust in the field. Links to everything are in the description. Let's get into it. Number 10. Kicking off the list at number 10, and right out of the gate, we have a rangefinder that pulls double duty for both hunting and golf, which means if you're someone who plays around in the off-season and also sits a stand in the fall, this one unit covers both needs without buying two separate devices. The Home X1 features 7 times magnification, a built-in magnet for attaching to a metal surface, and a rechargeable lithium-ion battery that buyers are reporting lasts through multiple outings without needing a top-up. One reviewer used it for 2 to 3 rounds of golf per week since May and said the battery was still fully charged months later. That kind of battery endurance in a hunting scenario means one less thing to worry about before you head into the field. The X1 measures up to 660 yards on the standard model with plus or minus 1 yard accuracy and delivers readings in under half a second. The slope compensation calculates the adjusted distance based on uphill and downhill terrain, which is genuinely useful whether you're shooting from an elevated stand or approaching a target across uneven ground. The flagpole lock with vibration confirms when the unit has locked onto your target, and reviewers note it works well in open terrain, though it can struggle with targets set against dense tree lines. Something to keep in mind for thick woods hunting. One hunter tested it against archery targets on a property and described it as accurate and easy to lock onto targets quickly. Another buyer compared it head-to-head against a Callaway and a Bushnell and said the pin lock and display accuracy held up against both. The build is plastic and light, which some users found felt inexpensive, but nobody reported it failing structurally in regular use. With 598 reviews and a 4.5-star rating, it earns its place at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is a unit that's been in significantly more hands with a far more established hunting-specific identity. And it brings a feature set that directly addresses the low-light visibility issues some Home buyers noted. Number 9. Aleman Golf Laser Rangefinder Hunting Rangefinder, 900 yards. Moving up to number 9, the AILEMONAL, 5 steps past the JIEHOME on review count with 768 reviews and maintains a solid 4.5-star average. But what gives it a real edge for hunting use is its all-glass optical system. While plastic lens systems are common at this price point, the AL52 uses fully multi-coated glass lenses that deliver better light transmission, a meaningful difference during those low-light dawn and dusk windows when most deer movement happens. One buyer used it for disc golf and said the optics locked onto targets effortlessly with near-instant readings. Another hunter compared it against an expensive rangefinder and said the readings matched up almost exactly. The AL52 measures from 5 to 900 yards with plus or minus 1 yard accuracy and features a slope mode with angle compensation, flagpole lock with vibration, continuous scanning, horizontal and vertical distance measurement, and a speed mode. It runs on 2 AAA batteries, which some hunters prefer over rechargeable units because you can always carry spares into the field without worrying about a dead built-in battery. The Mode 1 and Mode 2 setup separates the hunting scan function from the golf slope compensation mode cleanly, so you're not fumbling through settings when you need a quick read. Multiple buyers confirmed that at this price it delivers performance that competes with rangefinders costing significantly more. One reviewer who tested it through archery and golf use said the fast focus feature works well, and the flag lock with vibration gives genuine confidence in the distance reading. Another buyer who bought it strictly for hunting bow targets said it reads accurately at distance and is easy to operate with one hand. The honest trade-off is that the flag lock has received mixed feedback, with some users reporting occasional difficulty locking onto targets against complex backgrounds. But for hunters using it to range feeders, trails, and open lanes, not golf flags, that's a minor concern. The glass optics alone push this unit ahead of the Home for low-light field use. At number 8, we jump to a rangefinder that's earned more than twice the reviews and brings rain and fog filtering technology that changes the game entirely for hunters who don't have the luxury of choosing which days the weather cooperates. Number 8. Aleman Hunt Rangefinder 900 yards. Camo. Number 8 is Aleman's dedicated hunting version, the AL51, and it takes the AL52's optical foundation and repackages it in a camo finish built specifically for the field. With 768 reviews. Wait, I need to pause here. The AL51 has its own review count and differs from the AL52 enough in design focus to stand on its own. The camo housing helps the unit disappear against natural surroundings. The waterproofing is rated for outdoor exposure to dust and moisture, and the ARC angle range compensation technology adjusts your true target distance for uphill and downhill terrain, which is especially important for bow hunters shooting from elevated stands, where a steep angle can make a 40-yard target feel like 35 or 45, depending on the slope. Buyers with practical hunting experience have responded well. One farmer using it frequently for agricultural measurement as well as hunting said it's accurate within a few feet and has been reliable across constant use. A bow hunter who also tested it on the water-ranging buoys and mooring balls said it handled misting conditions and wiped clean easily with the included cloth. A first-year bow hunter compared readings against a friend's expensive rangefinder throughout the season and said the results were functionally identical for the shots they needed. The measuring speed comes in under half a second. It handles targets from 5 to 900 yards with plus or minus 1 yard accuracy, and the unit runs on AAA batteries with a low battery indicator on the LCD display. One experienced rangefinder user noted the battery door felt like the most vulnerable point on the unit, and the non-illuminated black LCD display can be harder to read in low-light conditions. Honest feedback worth knowing before you're sitting in a blind at 6 a.m. trying to range a deer. Number 7 has over 1,000 more reviews, adds a rechargeable battery, and builds in a mode memory function that remembers your last setting, meaning you don't have to cycle through menus when a deer steps into your shooting lane. Number 7. Wasports Hunting Rangefinder, 800/1,200 yards. At number 7, Wasports brings 1,989 reviews and a 4.6-star rating that represents a serious jump in community validation over what we've seen so far. The Wasports has been in considerably more hands, and what those hands report is consistent. It's accurate, reliable, and easy to pick up and use without studying the manual. One buyer compared it directly to a Bushnell rangefinder and said they preferred the Wasports 10-to-1. That's not a throwaway comment. That's someone who has used an expensive unit and chose the budget option. The rangefinder measures from 5 to 800 yards with plus or minus 1 yard accuracy and a reading speed under half a second. It features 3 mode options: straight line distance, target lock, and vertical distance, keeping the interface simple enough that you can operate it in tense field situations without overthinking it. The ergonomic design fits naturally in the hand, which matters when you're aiming at a moving target and need a steady grip. It auto-shuts off after 10 seconds of inactivity to preserve the CR2 battery, and the integrated battery cover reduces the number of parts that can fail or get lost in the field. Hunters and outdoor users using this unit over extended time periods have found it genuinely durable. One buyer reported using the archery version for years without issue and picked this up as a backup. Another buyer measured known distances against Google Maps estimates and found the readings landed within a yard consistently. The reviewer who used it extensively for target shooting said they were ranging 600+ yards just playing around with it. The honest note is that the plastic housing feels light, and some buyers found the low-light display readability to be a limitation in very dark or high-contrast conditions, consistent with what we've heard across several units on this list. The non-bow hunting version is the standard entry point, and there are upgraded versions with bow hunting angle compensation available if your specific setup requires it. Number 6 has the current Amazon's Choice badge, more than 2,400 reviews, a rechargeable built-in battery, and a mode memory function that makes it meaningfully smarter in real hunting scenarios than anything below it on this list. Number 6. Rangefinders Hunting Laser Rangefinder, 1,000 yards. And it brings 2,419 reviews and Amazon's Choice status to back up what buyers are saying. This is a compact, rechargeable, multi-function unit that punches above its price class. The most practically important upgrade over the Wasports is the built-in rechargeable lithium-ion battery with USB-C charging. That means no CR2 battery runs in the middle of the season, no carrying spares in your pack, and a charging method that works with the same cable as most modern devices. One longtime hunter described it as working every bit as well as a much more expensive rangefinder they had been using previously, and preferred the rechargeable design. The NK1000 measures from 5 to 1,000 yards with plus or minus 1 yard accuracy and 6.5 times magnification. It carries 7 functions, including ranging mode, all-in-one mode, scanning mode, speed measurement, 2-point height measurement, golf distance compensation, and a storage mode that remembers the last mode you used when you power back on. That mode memory is a small feature that makes a real difference in hunting situations. If you had it set to angle compensation mode when you turned it off, it's back in that mode when you turn it on without any cycling through menus while a buck is standing 30 yards out. The unit is compact and lightweight at just over 4 ounces, rainproof, and includes a USB-C charging cable, carrying pouch, lanyard, and lens cloth. Canadian hunters have confirmed it reaching 600 meters in field testing. A moose hunter in Canada called it perfect and noted the compact size was an advantage over older, larger rangefinders they had used previously. The known limitation is the black LCD display, which multiple reviewers mentioned can be harder to read in low light or against dark backgrounds, a consistent theme across budget units that lack illuminated displays. Some reviewers also noted the interface has a learning curve, with mode switching feeling complex at first pass. Number 5 has over 5,000 reviews, introduces an external slope switch for tournament-legal golf use, and buyers are reporting it performs side-by-side with rangefinders costing several times more. Number 5, Revassery Golf Rangefinder with slope and pin lock vibration. Number 5 is Revassery's Golf and Hunting Crossover, the slope version, and with 5,298 reviews, it represents a massive validation jump over everything below it on this list. What separates this unit from the hunting-only NK1000 is the external slope switch, flag lock with vibration feedback, and pin seeker technology, features that translate directly to hunting when you think of the flag as a deer and the pin lock as your shot confirmation. When the unit vibrates, you know you've locked distance onto your target, not a branch in the foreground. The slope-on mode displays angle, line-of-sight distance, and the adjusted shooting distance simultaneously. The slope-off mode disables angle compensation for clean, straight-line distance readings, which is also how hunters ranging in flat terrain typically want to work. The rechargeable built-in battery charges via USB-C, and buyers report it holding a charge for a week or two of regular use. One buyer who charged it at the beginning of the golf season reported not needing to recharge it for the duration of use. Another hunter who compared it against a name-brand unit said it matched the readings yard for yard. For hunters specifically, the pin lock vibration is most useful when ranging a target surrounded by brush. You hold the button, scan, and when the vibration fires, you know you've hit your target at the right distance rather than a piece of cover in front of it. Multiple buyers across hunting and golf use cases confirmed this feature works reliably in open terrain and reasonably well in moderate cover. The mixed feedback worth flagging. The pin lock struggles in some cases with heavy tree lines directly behind the target, and a handful of users reported inconsistency in flag lock performance. Display readability in low light remains a limitation consistent with other units in this price range. Number 4 carries 6,035 reviews, a 4.7-star rating, a rechargeable battery rated for 21,000 measurements per charge, and features a fast 0.46-second reading time that's been described repeatedly by buyers as genuinely snappy in real hunting conditions. Number 4. Tide Hunting Rangefinder with rechargeable battery, 700/1,000 yards. And the review count and star rating here tell you something meaningful. 6,035 reviews at 4.7 stars is a product that's earned its reputation across a large, hunting-specific customer base. This isn't a crossover unit optimized for golf that happens to work in the field. Tide. We built the HGR001 for hunters, and the feature set reflects that directly. The 0.46-second reading speed is the fastest on this list so far, and that matters in hunting scenarios where you're ranging a deer that might take 2 steps and change cover in the time a slower unit is processing. The continuous scan mode lets you sweep across a shooting lane ranging multiple reference points, a tree at 30 yards, a feeder at 80, a trail crossing at 120 without lifting your eye from the glass. The angle compensation covers tree stand shooting accurately, and the 6x magnification is paired with a clear LCD display that buyers consistently praise for readability in normal shooting light. The rechargeable lithium-ion battery is rated for up to 21,000 measurements per charge, which means a full hunting season of regular ranging without needing to plug in between trips. One buyer dropped the unit in their yard in November, couldn't find it, and discovered it the following April having been buried under snow for months. They pressed the power button and it turned right on with an accurate reading. Another buyer tested it at known distances down to 0.1 yard of tape measure accuracy and reported the consistency was nearly perfect. A hunter who used it for a full bow season described it as accurate, light, and worth recommending to first-time buyers without hesitation. The waterproofing is rated for rain resistance rather than submersion, which is appropriate for field use but not for drops into standing water. A small number of buyers noted difficulty seeing the display in dense forest at last light, a lighting challenge shared across most non-illuminated LCD units. Number 3 has 686 reviews, brings 7 dedicated hunting modes, introduces fog and rain filtering technology, and was designed around a 2025 processor that delivers a 0.3-second reading time, faster than Tide. Number 3. ACPOTEL, Precision Hunting Range. And this unit beats Tide WE on two performance metrics that matter directly in hunting conditions: reading speed and adverse weather capability. The 0.3-second measurement time is the fastest unit we've covered, and the dedicated rain and fog mode filters out atmospheric interference, rain, dust, and airborne particles to maintain accurate readings in conditions where most budget rangefinders become unreliable or fail entirely. For hunters who don't choose their days based on weather, that feature has genuine real-world value. The ACPOTEL carries 7 modes: rain and fog, single, bow, scanning, vertical height, auto height, and speed. That's the broadest mode coverage on this list, and it reflects a design intended for diverse terrain and hunting scenarios rather than just basic line-of-sight ranging. The plus or minus 0.5 yard accuracy specification is tighter than the 1 yard spec most units on this list claim, meaning the ACPOTEL's readings are potentially more precise. One buyer tested it extensively in rain and fog conditions and said it performed perfectly in both, which is exactly the advertised promise holding up in the field. At just over 5 ounces, it's among the lightest units on this list. It runs on included AAA batteries, which the company notes is intentional to avoid reliance on a built-in battery with limited lifespan. Buyers have noted the clarity of the optics and ease of use across hunting and target shooting applications. One buyer headed to Wyoming for an antelope hunt said it was performing well in initial testing and felt worth well more than double the price. Multiple reviewers confirmed it works straight out of the box without needing to read through a manual. The honest picture: the black LCD display has the same low-light limitation we've seen on other units at this price point, and a Canadian buyer noted moisture damage from heavy fog that required drying out before the unit would operate again, worth noting if you're hunting in consistently damp conditions without a weather-sealed housing. Number 2 carries 11,069 reviews and a 4.6-star rating from over 11,000 buyers, a validation level that's hard to argue against. And it's been specifically praised by hunters who dropped it from heights and found it still working perfectly when they retrieved it. Number 2, AOFARHX-700N Hunting Rangefinder, 700 yards. Number 2 is AOFAR, and with 11,069 reviews and a 4.6-star average, we're in a completely different tier of buyer validation than anything else on this list. More than 11,000 people have purchased, used, and left feedback on this unit, and what they're saying collectively is that it works, it's accurate, and it delivers on the promise of a reliable sub-$100 rangefinder for hunting and archery. The AOFARHX-700N uses pin sensor technology for 6 times magnification, ranging to 700 yards with plus or minus 1 yard accuracy. It features 2 modes, range and speed, keeping the interface deliberately simple, which is a real advantage for new hunters or anyone who doesn't want to manage a multi-mode system in the field. The simplicity means fewer buttons to fumble with when a deer is moving through your shooting lane. The waterproofing is described as dust-proof and rugged, and the package includes a carrying pouch with belt loop, lanyard, carabiner, CR2 battery, and cleaning cloth, a complete accessory set out of the box. Hunters have put this unit through genuinely impressive abuse. One buyer tested it indoors and outdoors with a surveyor's tape against measured distances and confirmed accuracy to within 1 yard consistently. Another reviewer who used it in field conditions dropped it from 20 feet with no resulting damage and said it remained accurate and functional. A shooter who compared it directly against higher-end units said the performance was essentially identical for their purposes. An air rifle pest control shooter in the UK called it perfect for fieldwork and said they wouldn't be without one after using it regularly for full seasons. The limitation most commonly mentioned is the non-illuminated display, which makes the unit harder to use at dawn, dusk, or in deep shade. Buyers who specifically hunt early morning or late evening encounters have noted the crosshairs and distance reading blend into dark backgrounds. Additionally, the 700-yard maximum range is lower than several other units on this list, which may be a factor for rifle hunters who need to range beyond that distance. But here's what matters for number 1. The top unit on this list carries 2,419 reviews on its hunting version, is currently the number 1 bestseller in laser rangefinders, adds a rechargeable battery, and has been purchased by more than 2,000 buyers in the past month alone. Stay with us. Number 1. Revasri Hunting Laser Rangefinder 1000 yards. Number 1 is Revasri's Camo Hunting Rangefinder, the current number 1 bestseller in the laser rangefinder category on Amazon, and the single most purchased hunting rangefinder on this entire list with over 2,000 units sold in the past month. That isn't a coincidence. When this many active hunters are choosing one unit in a 30-day window, the market is telling you something about what's working. What gives this unit the top spot over even the AOFAR? despite AOFAR's much larger total review count, comes down to current momentum, feature set, and what buyers specifically hunting are reporting. The Rangefinders carries a rechargeable built-in lithium-ion battery that charges via USB-C, compared to AOFAR's disposable CR2i, and that convenience factor compounds over a full hunting season. It measures to 1,000 yards versus AOFAR's 700, adds a storage mode that remembers your last setting, and incorporates 7 distinct measurement functions including 2-point height measurement and golf compensation mode that can double as an angle calculation tool for elevated stand shots. The 6.5 times magnification and multi-layer coated glass lens deliver a bright, clear image that buyers consistently describe as sharp and easy to read even when wearing glasses, since the exit pupil distance accommodates eyeglass users well. The rain-proof housing handles field weather, and at just over 4 ounces, it's light enough to carry on a bino harness or in a jacket pocket without noticing it all day. Hunters using this unit across multiple seasons have described it as indistinguishable in performance from name-brand units costing significantly more. One hunter who used it for a full deer season said it worked without a single issue throughout the season. A moose hunter in Canada confirmed accurate readings to 600 meters in field conditions. A buyer who compared it during 3-gun matches said the speed, ease of use, and accuracy across distances from 10 to 50 yards were all solid, with the added bonus of the automatic 30-second shutoff preserving battery life between uses. The known limitation shared across most units in this category is the black LCD display that can be harder to read in genuine low-light situations, particularly at last light in dense timber. Some buyers also noted the interface took a read-through of the manual to get comfortable with, particularly for the mode-switching sequence. But at the price point, with the rechargeable battery, with the 1,000-yard range, and with more than 2,000 hunters buying it in a single month, the Rangefinders Hunting Rangefinder is the most compelling overall value on this list in 2026. Links to every unit we covered today are in the description below. If you're a bow hunter who needs angle compensation above everything else, the Tidewee at number 4 is your unit. If weather performance in fog and rain is your priority, look at the AC Potel at number 3. But if you want the one that the most hunters are actively voting on with their wallets right now, the Rangefinders is the answer.